You want to train your back? Go outside and do some real work. That's exactly what my dad used to tell me all those years ago when I first started dreaming about getting my own home gym, when I first started going to the gym and lifting weights and running on their treadmills. My dad used to say to me, are you really thinking about doing this? You're going to pay money to go over there and move arbitrary stuff around the place. So inanimate objects, you're going to move it up and down, up and down. You can actually use this energy. You can use this energy to actually create something, build something, do something. All those years ago, these words still ring in my head. And then when I hear Louis Simmons talking about those boys from not from Norway or Sweden, I can't remember exactly which country it is now, but those Scandinavian boys, they used to be the lumberjacks, and just through byproduct of that, developed really, really impressive deadlifts. And this is where the whole sled pull came into the picture for Louis. He basically tried to mimic being a lumberjack in a way. They used to tie big trees and, pull them with rope from point A to point B. If you want to be a strong guy, you're going to have to do some damn work. And a lot of the times we talk about which exercise does this, which exercise does that. We talk about the 45 hyper, picking weights off the ground for X amount of reps or whatever. If you think about it, if you just go outside and dig in your backyard, if you do your lawn, if you do whatever physical work that you're going to be doing, you're going to be working your physical being. You're going to be working it. I'll be the first one to admit, every time I do my lawn, and it hasn't been often that I've done it in the last month, it's just been raining. Every time I've looked outside, every time I've had a day off, it's been raining. So now it's freaking really, really big, out of control and whatever. So I go outside right now and I go about it, and the whole time I'm like, wow, man, every single time I do this, I get a lower back pump. I get a low back pump from pushing a damn thing, right? And I don't know whether it's the pushing or it's the pulling or whether it's me crouching or ducking underneath the clothesline. I don't know what it is, man, but the act of doing the lawn, the act of holding an implement in front of me like a whippersnipper or whatever, does something to my core. It works me out. I feel like as though I've done a few sets in the damn 45 hyper. And you mix that up with the fact that I've been doing this for an hour and a half, running around the backyard doing whatever I need to do. It's a freaking workout. It's a workout. Now imagine if I had a shovel and I had to dig a trench. Imagine if I had to chop down a tree. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to chop down a tree. I have. The smallest of the damn trees, man, had me wrecked. Had me wrecked. Swinging that axe at 45 degrees and then, whatever, parallel to the ground, swinging it. I remember when I chopped that tree down in the previous house that we owned, my dad came over the following day and he said to me, what are you doing, man? That's not how you chop a tree down. Because it was so awkward to me to chop the tree down, I actually chopped it and the stump was like knee level. And, he used to say to me that there was a saying back in, where he's from, back in Yugoslavia, that, that's a poor man, or I can't remember the terminology used, that was a bad man that would chop a tree down and leave a stump that far off the ground. If you're going to chop the damn tree, you got to chop it really close to the ground. Okay, it's going to be harder, but that's what you do. And I said to him, man, I struggle even with this height. So there's something inherent about doing physical work. And, I train every day. You guys know that I train every day. And every time I get comments that go along the lines of you're overtraining or you're overworking or whatever the case might be, all I think about is my dad. I think about his dad. My grandfather worked like crazy. We're talking like 18-hour days. He used to work in the steel factory, and you can imagine what that looked like, in the 50s and 60s and 70s. You can imagine what that thing looked like, right? Working as a young man in a steel factory. There wasn't a lot of machinery back then, There's no robots carrying this stuff around. You're working with steel, right? And then after that, he would go home and he would work on his farm. He had a farm because that's how everyone used to feed themselves. If you don't plant, if you don't harvest, you're not going to have anything to eat. And then also he accepted a program back in the day. There used to be a program where you get these pigs from the government and you kind of take care of them for like a 6 to 12 month period. And then you give them back when they're kind of ready for slaughter. And so he was doing that. He was kind of always in circulation. He would get little ones, feed them, look after them and all that. So he was basically outside all day. The only time he would go in the house is to eat, wash up a little bit, go to sleep, and that's it. There was none of this TV, YouTube. There was none of this stuff that we talk about, sitting all the time. This man basically stood all his life. He was just always working. He built the house himself, as a 30, 40-year-old man. He built his own house. He built his own fence. He built his own garage, and the garage was freaking massive. It was made out of concrete, basically, concrete bricks that he made. So, we're talking a life full of work, and then somebody comes to me and says, oh, you're overtraining. I'm like, dude, open your eyes, open any textbook, open anything. This is not work, man. Your hour, 45-minute session, that ain't work, dude. I'm sorry to break it to you, man. I don't care if you do 15 sets of triples. That's not work. 18 hours on the farm is damn work, man. And me doing an hour worth of lawn mowing my lawn, I'm getting lit up in my lower back. Right? Okay, there's specificity there. There's conditioning there for each specific task. I get that. But you can't tell me that me pulling 265 deadlift, I can walk over to any farm right now and just smash their work. Far from it. There is something about conditioning. And I've spoken about this in the past, and I've said how I've worked with my late father-in-law and my father. We worked digging holes, whatever needed to be done, whichever one of our houses. And I'd go in the backyard with him, and they would put me to shame. Back then, I used to deadlift 200 or 180 or whatever the case might have been. Much stronger than them. Like, I guarantee you they couldn't have deadlifted 200. I guarantee you. It took me years to get to 200. But then we pick up the shovel or the hoe or pick up any freaking garden tool. Man, I'm wasted after a few swings, man. I'm freaking wasted. And these guys are like laughing at me like, look at this guy going to the gym. Like, he's got no real world strength. Or the guy that I went off, the butcher down the road. We used to go and my late father-in-law used to smoke and dry the meat, over the winter. And so we'd go over there, pick up like 150 kilos of meat and all this stuff. And I remember going over there and there's a pile of this stuff that we ordered, and we're picking it up from this like door back of the place. And there's some like 6'4" guy like picking up these slabs of meat that are rolled up in like this string or whatever, this rope. He'll be picking up one-handed and throwing it, and me looking at him doing the first few, I thought, okay, no worries. Reached out, pick it up one-handed. I'm like, whoa. This is actually a two-hand job for me. And I remember me telling him like, wow, dude, you're so damn strong, man. Like, there's something about real world strength. This is something that I always think about. And it's always kind of grounds me when I think about I'm training too much, which is far from the damn case. So today I got a damn wicked old lower back pump before I even touched the barbell. Hour and a half of messing around. I told you, it's been a freaking month since the last time I did the lawn. So it's, lots of work needed. And I only just did the backyard. I didn't even touch the front yard. Did that, went over, and I was like, man, I'm already tired before I even freaking done anything over here. And to top it all off, the grass was wet, right? So when the grass is wet, it's much harder to work with it, to cut it, obviously, and to work with it. You got to empty the damn lawnmower every 2 seconds. Walked over to the bar, and I felt the low back pump. But anyway, got through it, got 160. And then at the end of it, I was like, okay, today was supposed to be my volume day for the squats. I wanted to do my usual 15 sets of triples. 15 triples at 60%, what I've been doing. And I thought, you know what, like, I don't have time. Like, I wanted to come back in and watch Denver and Miami game 1. And, I've got a night shift tonight, so I don't want to be lazing around 50 sets for take an hour. So then I downloaded this app, whatever app that I downloaded called, I typed in every minute on the minute, like GMOM clock or whatever timer that I did. And first thing popped up. And so I've got this app now, which basically, rings out to me every minute. It will be like, 10 seconds to go. And then, so every minute on the minute, I was doing a triple with 110 kilos. So after 15 minutes, my whole volume got done. And so, the act of doing the lawn had me in this kind of like continuously, I just wanted to continuously keep moving, because that's what you do when you work in the real world. Like, you don't just stop and, jump on the phone and check out the Instagram lifts that, your community is doing. You got a hole to dig, man. You got to dig the hole, or dig the damn thing, right? And so, like, every minute on the minute is basically I do a set, walk around, catch my breath, do a set, walk around, catch my breath, do a set. It was awesome, man. So I think I might be I think I might start doing this as well. Like, you can get a lot more work done. Okay, you might be, having to chop down some of the intensity that you'll be working with, but it's a great way to work the conditioning aspect of it. I think this is something that I'm missing. So I'm going to try and incorporate some of these EMOMs into my training routine. But I didn't plan to kind of show you guys how I do the lawn. It's not the channel, but I thought to myself, I've been showing you guys that I'm not anything different to you guys. I do exactly the same stuff as you, and I thought it would be a really cool thing to also show you guys how I look when I do the lawn, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, social media is a fantasy place, and a lot of people forget that no matter what you squat, no matter what you do, no matter what you are, you still need to sleep, go to work, have a family, do basically the exact same thing everyone else is doing. And so that's kind of like my motivation to portray this aspect of my life, which I haven't really done a lot of on the channel. But I think it's really cool for me to show bits and pieces like that of me doing other stuff other than just the barbell. I hope you enjoyed that aspect of it. Hope you enjoy my thoughts on this whole thing. But as always, guys, I appreciate you for listening to the end, if you've made it this far. Like always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers. Actually, not cheers. Peace out. Almost lost it there. Peace out, fellas.